Everyone thought this would be easy for Dmitry Bivol, an undefeated champion, one of the most technically gifted fighters in boxing, and across the ring, a challenger that almost nobody gave a real chance. But what happened next surprised a lot of people. Michael Eifert refused to back down. He kept moving forward, kept taking risks, and forced Bivol to work for every single round. There were no knockdowns, no miracle comeback. But there was something just as impressive. A complete boxing masterclass from a champion determined to prove why he's one of the best in the world. Round 1. From the very first bell, Dmitry Bivol looked exactly like a champion. Calm, relaxed, completely in control. While Michael Eifert entered the fight with confidence, it quickly became clear that he was facing one of the most disciplined boxers in the world. Bivol immediately established his jab, not as a weapon designed to hurt, but as a tool to control everything: distance, tempo, positioning. Every time Eifert attempted to close the gap, Bivol met him with sharp, straight punches and subtle footwork. Nothing spectacular, nothing reckless, just pure efficiency. The challenger continued moving forward, trying to make the fight physical, but Bivol refused to stay in front of him long enough to create danger. By the end of the round, the champion had already established his rhythm, and Eifert realized he would have to work extremely hard just to touch him cleanly. Round 2. Round 2 revealed why Dmitry Bivol has remained one of boxing's elite technicians. The champion began increasing his activity without sacrificing control. His jab landed repeatedly, his combinations became sharper, and most importantly, he never allowed Eifert to become comfortable. Every attempt by the challenger to build momentum was interrupted immediately. Bivol would step in, land 2 or 3 clean punches, then slide away before a response could arrive. The movement looked effortless, but behind that simplicity was years of elite-level experience. Eifert continued searching for openings, trying to pressure the champion toward the ropes. Yet every attack seemed to end the same way. Bivol creating an angle, Bivol landing first, Bivol controlling the exchange. The gap in timing and accuracy was becoming increasingly obvious. Round 3 by round 3, Michael Eifert understood he needed to do something different. Simply following Bivol around the ring wasn't working. The challenger became more aggressive and started taking greater risks in an attempt to force exchanges. For brief moments, it appeared to help. He managed to close distance and make the fight slightly more physical, but every adjustment created new opportunities for the champion. Bivol's counterpunching began shining. As Eifert committed forward, sharp combinations started finding the target with increasing frequency. The crowd reacted every time the champion connected cleanly. Yet what made Bivol so impressive wasn't power. It was consistency. He never rushed, never chased, never abandoned the game plan. By the end of the round, the fight was still competitive, but momentum was firmly in the champion's hands. By round 4, the fight had settled into a rhythm that strongly favored the champion. Michael Eifert continued trying to apply pressure, but Dmitry Bivol seemed one step ahead every time. The jab became the key weapon, not because it was causing damage, but because it controlled every aspect of the fight: distance, timing, positioning. Every time Eifert attempted to enter range, Bivol met him with a quick jab, followed by a clean combination. What made it frustrating for the challenger was Bivol's discipline. He never stayed in the pocket longer than necessary. He would land, pivot, and immediately reset. Eifert had moments of success when he forced exchanges near the ropes, but those moments never lasted long. Bivol always found a way to escape and re-establish control. The champion wasn't chasing a knockout. He was slowly breaking down the challenger with precision and consistency. Round 5 saw Bivol become more aggressive. After spending the early rounds gathering information, he now looked ready to increase the pressure. The combinations became faster, the counters sharper, the accuracy even more impressive. Eifert continued showing toughness and determination. He never stopped trying to close distance, never stopped searching for opportunities. But the problem remained the same. Bivol was simply too efficient. Every attack from Eifert seemed to create an opening for the champion. A quick jab, a straight right, a combination to the body. Bivol landed cleanly and repeatedly. The crowd could feel momentum building. While Eifert remained competitive, the fight was beginning to look increasingly one-sided from a technical standpoint. By round 6, many challengers would have started fading mentally. Michael Eifert did the opposite. He continued pushing forward despite the growing deficit. The challenger attempted to make the fight rougher and more physical. He tried to disrupt Bivol's rhythm and force uncomfortable exchanges. For brief moments it worked, but only briefly. Bivol's composure never changed. His breathing remained calm. His footwork remained sharp. His defense remained disciplined. Every time Eifert found a small opening, the champion quickly closed it. The difference in experience was becoming increasingly obvious. Bivol wasn't simply winning rounds. He was controlling the entire pace of the contest. And as the fight entered the second half, the champion looked stronger than ever. Round 7 may have been Bivol's cleanest round so far. Everything seemed to flow effortlessly. The jab landed consistently. The footwork looked flawless. The combinations connected with remarkable precision. Eifert continued trying to pressure forward, but he now spent more time reacting than attacking. Bivol was dictating where the fight took place, when exchanges happened, and how long they lasted. One sequence midway through the round perfectly summarized the fight. Eifert stepped forward aggressively. Bivol landed a jab, followed with a combination, pivoted away, and reset before the challenger could respond. It looked simple, but it was elite-level boxing. The champion was demonstrating exactly why he had remained undefeated for so long. As round 8 began, urgency became impossible to ignore. Michael Eifert understood that winning small exchanges would no longer be enough. He needed momentum. He needed something dramatic. But finding those opportunities against Dmitry Bivol proved incredibly difficult. The champion remained disciplined and focused. Every attack from Eifert was met with intelligent defense and accurate counters. Bivol wasn't taking risks. He wasn't chasing highlights. He was executing a championship game plan. The challenger continued showing heart and determination. The crowd respected his effort, but the scorecards were becoming harder to ignore. Bivol looked completely comfortable, completely confident, and fully in command of the fight heading into the championship rounds. Entering round 9, Michael Eifert knew time was running out. The challenger had shown heart. He had shown toughness, but he still hadn't found a consistent answer to Dmitry Bivol's rhythm, so he increased the pressure. Eifert stepped forward more aggressively, trying to force exchanges in the center of the ring. For brief moments, he managed to make the fight uncomfortable. The crowd reacted whenever he landed, but every small success was followed by the same problem. Bivol adapted immediately. A jab, a quick combination, a pivot to the side. Suddenly, the momentum disappeared again. The champion never looked rushed, never looked frustrated. He simply continued executing his game plan with remarkable discipline. By the end of the round, Eifert was still fighting hard, but Bivol remained firmly in control. Many fighters become conservative with a lead. Dmitry Bivol did the opposite. Round 10 showcased the mentality that made him one of boxing's elite champions. Despite likely being ahead on the scorecards, he continued working behind the jab and looking for openings. Eifert refused to quit. Every time he moved forward, he did so with purpose. But the champion's timing was simply on another level. Bivol repeatedly intercepted attacks before they could fully develop. The accuracy became almost surgical. Short combinations landed cleanly. Defensive mistakes were punished instantly. Yet Bivol never abandoned discipline in search of a knockout. He remained patient, calm, focused. The challenger continued showing tremendous determination, but the gap in technical execution was becoming impossible to ignore. By round 11, the outcome of the fight was becoming increasingly clear. Eifert still believed. He still pushed forward. He still searched for opportunities. But Dmitry Bivol had removed almost every path to victory. The champion's footwork remained sharp despite 11 rounds of action. His jab continued finding the target. His defense remained organized. Most importantly, he never allowed the challenger to build momentum. Every promising attack from Eifert ended with Bivol regaining control moments later. The crowd appreciated the challenger's effort, but they were also witnessing a masterclass, not a destructive performance, a disciplined one. The type of performance that wins world titles and keeps them for years. The final round wasn't about survival, it was about professionalism. Both fighters understood where the fight stood. Eifert needed something dramatic. Bivol needed to finish strong. The challenger gave everything he had left. He continued pressing forward and trying to create exchanges, but the champion remained composed until the very end. Bivol boxed beautifully throughout the round. Sharp jab, smart movement, accurate combinations, no unnecessary risks, no emotional decisions, just complete control. As the final seconds ticked away, the crowd rose to its feet. Eifert had earned respect through his toughness and determination. But the story of the night belonged to Dmitry Bivol. When the final bell rang, there was little doubt about the result. 12 rounds of elite-level boxing, and another championship performance from one of the most technically gifted fighters in the sport.